I gave the ancient laborers only endless plain congee and pickles and made them work 8 hours a day. Even braised pork only came on weekends. I thought they would revolt soon. But on day 1 they panicked. This must be our last meal. Day 3. The workers grew terrified. Is our Lord fattening us for slaughter? By day 7, every worker came before me, my Lord. Whoever you want dead, we will kill them for you. Our lives belong to you. After 1 full month, they somehow draped me in yellow. A dragon-patterned robe. Ha ha ha. My Lord, the weather is cold. Please put on another layer. I stared at the dragon robe, lost in thought. You people are really putting me in danger. I am loyal to this nation. With no betrayal. 2 years earlier, I crossed over as a frontier magistrate and awakened the ultimate supply system. With a system backing me, I thought my rise would be easy. But then, at first it only gave endless rice, pickles and Yunnan Bayao. That immediately reminded me of an old online post. If ancient workers only got congee and pickles, would they rebel? Most commenters said no. One cheeky comment even said, both unlimited and thicker, with sesame oil added. Forget labor duty, make them build the Great Wall to Europe. And they would not complain. As I thought this while walking, my attendant, Yang Xiao, pointed to a ruined little town ahead and said, "Young master, that is Pingliang County." I looked at the crumbling walls and frowned at once. This post would not be easy. Just as I entered town, a scarred woman with 3 missing fingers knelt before me and begged, "My lord, please be kind, give us some grain." Once she started begging, others rushed up and blocked my way, kneeling for even 1 bite. I was about to take some grain from the carriage for these people when a voice rang out from the crowd. Do not block the noble lord's path. As he spoke, a man walked out. On his left waist hung a chipped saber. That drew every eye. Curious, I asked, "Are you their leader?" "Your name?" The saber man gave a bitter smile. "Leader? Me. They only fear this broken blade. If you can, please give us cripples some grain." I reached into the carriage behind me and pulled out 2 sacks, then walked to the saber man. "These people may be broken in body, but they still keep order. That must be your doing. 2 sacks of grain. Take them and share them." The saberman never expected that such precious grain would be handed to him directly. That small act gave him great respect. After taking the grain, the people around us burst into grateful thanks. The saberman too weighed the sacks in his hands. He knew weight well. About 40 pounds of grain. Enough for 2 careful meals. The saberman took the sacks and gave them to the first woman, saying, "Divide this among everyone." But as soon as she opened a sack, "Brother Wu, look, fine grain." "What?" The man surnamed Wu thought he misheard. So the woman lifted the open sack right in front of him, letting him see clearly. The next second, he froze in place, staring at the white rice. Wu reached out excitedly to check, but seeing his filthy black hands, he feared ruining the grain and quickly pulled them back. Wu asked in disbelief, "My lord, is this fine rice truly for us?" I gave a calm nod, then raised my voice to the wounded crowd around me. "I am Zhou Yi, magistrate. Starting tomorrow, the office will open stores and give relief grain." At those words, the crowd erupted like a wave. "Long live the magistrate." I raised a hand to silence them, then asked the saberman, "Your surname is Wu. What is your name? Take me to the office." The saberman looked thrilled and hurriedly replied, "I am surnamed Wu. I am the 6th son. Everyone calls me Wu Liuzi." I nodded lightly. "Wu Liuzi, lead the way. Take us there." Deeper in, I grew shocked. The road was lined with ruined homes. Some townspeople still had sound limbs, unlike those outside the walls. But in their eyes, I found nothing, even a trace of hope for life. Perhaps seeing this too, Wu Liuzi shouted into the town, "The court has not abandoned us. Our new magistrate has arrived. He will open the granary tomorrow and help us disaster victims." Once Wu Liuzi said this, the townspeople inside, whose eyes had been dull, seemed suddenly lit by a spark, burning with fierce hope. Moments later, we reached a building half collapsed. Wuliozi shouted, "Old Qian, the court sent us a magistrate." Soon after, a middle-aged man in worn constable robes, with 3 others rushing from the office. The lead constable ran excitedly to Wuliozi and asked, "Wuliozi, what was that?" "The court sent another magistrate." Wuliozi pointed back at me. "This lord is Pingliang County's new magistrate." When Qian Yong saw me, he hurried down and knelt before me, sobbing as he said, "My lord, you finally came. The court has not forgotten." Pingliang's people, I helped him up and asked about Pingliang in detail. Pingliang was a remote small county with 800 homes and 5,000 people. But after the snow disaster half a year ago, but now the whole county, less than 2,000 remained. Former magistrate and clerk were both fierce men. Never yielding, they died for the country. The Huns cut off their heads and raised them. Hearing Qian Yong describe it, my neck suddenly felt cold. Qian Yong carefully asked, "My lord, the border troops and relief grain, when will they reach our county?" From the original owner's memories, I knew Qian's state was rotten. Especially after Yen Song took power, the whole court turned foul. As for the aid Qian Yong mentioned, none had come in half a year. So it clearly would never come. I snorted and shattered their last illusion. Half a year at court, those corpse-eating dogs sent neither grain nor troops, yet you still dream about things that will never come. My voice was low, but every nearby citizen heard it. Instantly, the people around us darkened. Their hope died out. Seeing the moment was right, I shouted, "Seeing your misery today, I could not bear it. Luckily, I still have family wealth. The grain I bought will arrive in Pingliang tonight. Relief will begin at noon tomorrow." The people about to scatter gathered around once more. Then I continued, "However, no work means no relief grain. Pingliang County's walls are now ruined. They cannot stop bandits or enemies. Starting tomorrow morning, we repair the southern defenses first. Men or women, old or weak. As long as you help. If you help, you get porridge at noon." As for repairing the city wall, the people did not object. They even supported it deep down. Only everyone doubted whether I could provide grain on time. Then I said to Constable Qian, "Go count the people still living in our county, all ages. Sort them clearly for me. Especially anyone literate or skilled. Mark them down separately." After that, I took Qian Yong inside. Inside the office, I asked Qian Yong, "Where is our county granary?" Qian Yong froze, then quickly replied, "My lord, are you planning to use granary grain to help the disaster victims? The Huns looted it clean months ago." I shook my head. "Did you not hear my earlier words? Did I not say, my gathered grain arrives tonight? We need a place to store it." Hearing grain was coming, Qian Yong eagerly led the way. Soon I was brought to a storage site. I said, "Constable Qian, find some locks and lock these granaries again. Give the keys to Yang Xiu later. The grain deliverers will find him." "Right. From now on, Yang Xiu is our clerk." With grain settled, Qian Yong took me around ruined Pingliang. And after a whole afternoon, I had a rough view of Pingliang County. At first, after arriving here, I wanted to lead the poor to seize land. But after walking around, then Pingliang had no rich families left. Anyone with a little wealth had already taken their families and fled this war-torn county. Now I finally understood why the system gave me endless rice and pickles, because without it, becoming magistrate of Pingliang would be a hell mode start. The next morning, I took Yang Xiu early, with 5 constables, with tools to the south gate. At the south gate, I found most of the men there, led by Wu Liuzi. Only 20 or so were able-bodied. Seeing this, I felt angry and cursed these stubborn people inside. Repairing and strengthening the wall was for their own good. When the Huns invaded again, would they only kill me, not them? Qian Yong noticed my anger and hurried to soothe me, "My lord, when people starve too long, they have no strength. They barely move. They have not seen your grain. So they would rather lie at home, saving what strength they have, than risk fixing the wall here." Once I understood this, I could not help regretting. I should have given out grain last night already, and once everyone had eaten their fill, then suggested repairing the defenses. But if I drew out grain from the system before them, I could not explain it. I mocked myself in silence. Young and inexperienced, and I call myself a modern college student. Then Qian Yong's words broke my thoughts. "What now, my lord? I cleared my throat and ordered everyone already present. Constable Qian, divide them into teams of 10. Then register them with Yang Xiao. At noon, cook by the head count. Constable Qian managed well. Soon, over 20 teams were formed. Among the 200, less than 10% were able-bodied. They were already starving and tired, so the first morning's work was slow. Near noon, I said, time is about right. Take men to the granary. Bring grain and pickles for these people. Remember, make today's porridge thicker. By then, the Pingliang people repairing defenses were all starving. Almost everyone wondered, would there really be food at noon? Had the magistrate tricked them? Chief Qian passed down my order to keep unregistered idlers from freeloading. Everyone lined up in their teams, ready to eat by group. When the pot was opened, hot steam and rice fragrance spread all around. The front row workers smelled it and swallowed hard. But what shocked them more was a tub from Yang Xiao, filled with shiny oily red things. That made appetite surge. I opened the register and said to everyone behind, come by team and name. State your name, if not listed. Do not try to freeload here. Wu Liuzi's team stood first in line after he received the first bowl. He could not wait and slurped it down. That first mouthful, Wu Liuzi felt his empty stomach instantly warm up. Then Wu Liuzi suddenly realized the porridge just swallowed was nothing like old relief gruel. Wu Liuzi shouted, brothers, the magistrate gave us fine grain. Fine grain means grain only officials and nobles can eat. Soon the wall repairers had all received congee and pickles, but as they kept eating, tears fell on their own. Some even began to sob. The reason they cried was simply because they had never tasted porridge this good or pickles this delicious. I ate in the shade. Their crying only annoyed me. I thought they needed more, so I stood and shouted impatiently, not full? Get more. Why are you whining? Outsiders will think I refuse to feed you. Every corvée worker there froze and stopped crying. Every worker there. More was allowed. Are we still dreaming today? Congee this delicious. One bowl is already a luxury, yet he said we could have more. Just then, one worker still hungry after his bowl bravely walked up to me and asked respectfully, my lord, may I really have another bowl? I nodded calmly, go ahead. Once they knew I was not lying, those finished crowded forward at once for a second bowl. After all the workers were full, I stepped out and said, listen well, from now on, whoever works for me will never go hungry, but if you dare riot or rob, then starve later. I said this because I wanted to plant a seed to obey and follow command. Pingliang lies where 5 states clash. Walls alone would not be enough. Once the walls were repaired, I planned to recruit militia, guard Pingliang, so a militia even I could not command would be useless to build, as I imagined. Having a brave army under me, Chief Constable Qian Yong dragged over a shifty-eyed man before me. I glanced at the kneeling man. What crime, Constable Qian? Qian Yong replied, my lord, I caught this freeloader. This kid on the ground is Bai Shang. He never came to repair the wall. He slipped in while everyone ate, joining the crowd. Please decide his punishment. I glanced at Bai Shang, but held back punishment. Instead, I ordered a constable to bring congee and pickles. Bai Shang, right, did you eat enough? Bai Shang hurried to kneel properly. My lord, spare me. I was blinded by greed and pretended to be a worker for congee. I only drank 2 mouthfuls before the chief constable caught me. I was wrong. I will work hard this afternoon. Please show mercy, my lord. I smiled at Bai Shang before me. Does it taste good? Bai Shang, kneeling there, began shaking in fear and kept kowtowing. He answered, why yes, very good. I leaned close and softly said, my congee is not easy to drink. Though my voice was gentle, Bai Shang trembled on the ground. Mercy, my lord, I am repairing the wall here. Need more hands. See those 2 bowls. 1 bowl is for you, the other is bait for you to recruit people. Understand? Bai Shang froze. Lord, you mean I should go into town? Spread the word. Wall work gets congee and pickles. I nodded calmly, confirming Bai Shang's idea. Seeing he was spared, he asked softly again, my lord, you will not punish me for today. I coldly snorted. Tomorrow, if I see more wall workers, still only this many people, then you did not serve me well. That makes 2 crimes at once. Let us see if you can bear it. Bai Shang quickly kowtowed in fear. I will serve you with all my strength. Tomorrow, I will bring you many workers. I nodded in satisfaction. The next day, when I came to the south gate again, I found today's crowd was twice yesterday's size. There were already over 400 people. Then Bai Shang brought his wife and came to me as if asking for credit. He knelt and said, "My lord, I did not fail you. Yesterday I ran through the whole city, spreading word of your fine rice and labor offer. So today, so many people came to help repair the old city. I dared to bring my wife too, to help serve you. Please take us in, my lord." This repair of the old city wall was not just to restore it. I also planned to make it higher and thicker. Yesterday's 200 looked like many, but most had injuries or disabilities, and they had been starving with no strength. So their work was extremely slow. Now so many more had come today to help repair the wall, let alone women, even a dog in the county I would drag over for labor. I nodded calmly and said to Bai Shang and his wife, "Whether man or woman, anyone who helps repair the wall will not be treated badly by me." I turned to Qian Yong and said, "Right, there are more people today. Prepare more pots for porridge." When Qian Yong was leaving, he asked with hesitation, "My lord, are we still giving them such precious white rice porridge today?" I asked back, "Why? Do you not want to drink it?" Qian Yong quickly shook his head and said, "No, not at all. I only feel using such fine rice for us to drink is really a bit wasteful, is it not?" Qian Yong nodded slightly. The reason he thought this was because Qian Yong believed if the county magistrate changed this fine rice into coarse grain, then the county granary's food could last a little longer. Since someone asked this, it was a perfect chance to win hearts. So I shouted, "Your lives are lives. And nobles' lives are lives too. Why should they eat and use the best? Are princes and generals born noble?" That line, "Are princes and generals born noble?" left Qian Yong deeply shaken. I continued, "Do not think your lives are lowly, and ministers' lives are precious. In my eyes, life is above heaven." First that line about princes and generals, then life is above heaven. Those 2 sentences left Constable Chen frozen in shock. He was overwhelmed by my grand view of life above heaven, and thought to himself, "Lord Zhou loves the people like his children. I must serve him with all my strength." Soon, a week passed. The news that coming to repair the wall meant drinking fine white porridge had spread through the whole city. Men, women, old and young, healthy or disabled, as long as they could work, all came to the wall worksite. For these commoners who came to work, I refused no one. Women, the elderly, and the weak were assigned to the support team, responsible for cooking for everyone. Young children were sent to collect firewood. Besides that, every 10 days, I paid wages to these laborers, and the wages were bright white rice. Each one of my actions made all of Pingliang County grateful. Everyone working at the site was fired up with energy. Day after day passed. Before I knew it, I had already been in Pingliang County for half a year. After more than half a year of the whole city working as one, today, all 4 walls of Pingliang County were fitted with new gates at once. Seeing this wall over 10 meters high, wide, thick, and finally complete, I finally felt a bit safe. To be honest, I was very lucky. During this half year, Pingliang saw no foreign raids at all, but even walls can fall someday. Pingliang County's walls now might withstand 10 or 20,000 elites, but the Xiongnu to the north and the Khitan to the east were both said to command millions. Though that number was exaggerated, I believe they still had at least 100,000 or 200,000 troops. I let out another long sigh and thought to myself, Pingliang County still has too few people. I must find another way. Now the city wall was finished. Many commoners had earned plenty. Later, I would not keep giving them grain. If I did that, it would only raise a crowd of lazy men. Future production and better lives, in the end, had to be built by their own hands. That afternoon, I gathered every commoner in the city, fellow villagers and elders. Today we gather here to celebrate our finished city wall, but we cannot grow proud or satisfied. Now the Xiongnu are to the north, the Chang enemy is to the west, and the Khitan wolves watch from the east. Although our Qin kingdom has 200,000 troops stationed at Pingyang Pass, our own county's armed strength is far too empty. Now we have few crossbows, 10 spears, and under 30 bolts. Not even one full suit of armor. So this county will recruit brave men from today and form the Pingliang County Guard. Anyone who joins the county guard will eat 3 meals of rice and pickles each day. 30 pickles monthly. When this news came out, the crowd below instantly lit up. After all, the county lord had just said the city guard would eat 3 meals a day, and every meal was solid rice. After I announced this, the whole city grew excited. People rushed forward to enlist. 1/3 of Pingliang County came to sign up. That was almost all. of Pingliang's male labor force. I never expected only giving 200 jin of rice a month and 30 packs of pickles. Such simple military benefits could still attract so many people to enlist. 2 months later, I already had a regular army and over 200 reservists. So I began my next plan. Now that I had manpower, I had to find a way to make money. Though I only had 17 taels of silver, with endless rice and pickles, I was not worried about earning money. Take rice to nearby counties and trade it for real silver. This task naturally had to go to my hardworking Yang Xiu. So Yang Xiu gained another duty, leading a team of men to take grain and pickles from the warehouse to the largest nearby county city and trade them for silver. Yang Xiu's first trip to Pingyang City took 7 full days round trip. A full 10 carts of grain and pickles became shining silver ingots. The silver earned reached 3,000 taels. Besides that, Yang Xiu brought back some news. All of Yangzhou had fallen into drought and was in severe grain shortage. Across all of Yangzhou, it had not rained for over half a year. Every day burned under the blazing sun. The fields were dried and cracked. Nearby Pingyang City and Pingjiang County had both lost most of this year's harvest. Yang Xiu told me everything he had seen in Pingyang City. My lord, when I sold grain in Pingyang City, the grain price changed every day. The grain merchants there raised prices several times a day. They clearly wanted the ordinary people to have no way to live. I asked coldly, Yang Xiu, you did not follow them and raise grain prices on purpose, did you? Yang Xiu knew his lord had a bodhisattva heart and would never allow him to be like profiteers, doing things that harmed the people. So he panicked and knelt before me, hurriedly explaining, my lord, I swear, I would never damage your good name. As soon as I brought those carts into the city, Pingyang City's grain merchants found me and bought everything at once. I scolded him in frustration, Yang Xiu, you are truly confused. A rare chance was right before you. You should have worked with those merchants and pushed the grain price higher. When Yang Xiu heard this, he was stunned. Was my lord not kind-hearted, unable to bear the people's suffering? Why did he suddenly change today and even blame me for not joining those profiteers? I saw the doubt in Yang Xiu's eyes. Yang Xiu, do you know what our county lacks most right now? Yang Xiu thought and said, money. I shook my head, then weapons and gear. I shook my head again. Denying his answer, he said, I am dull. Please enlighten me, my lord. It is population and talent. Our county has everything to rebuild. Money is only an outside thing we can earn later. What we lack most is people and talent. Yang Xiu still looked confused. But population and talent, what do they have to do with making me raise prices with those profiteers? Yang Xiu, think about it. If Pingyang City and Pingjiang County have sky-high grain prices, but they discover our Pingliang County has very cheap grain, what will the people in those cities do? When Yang Xiu heard this, he understood at once. If Yang Xiu and the profiteers of Pingyang and Pingjiang together raised grain prices beyond the people's reach, and then unintentionally released news that Pingliang grain was cheap, those people would naturally run to Pingliang. Yang Xiu praised excitedly, brilliant, truly brilliant. So my lord wants to use this method to help the people of those two counties. This way, the people of those two places will move their whole families to settle in our Pingliang County. Then our shortage of population and labor will solve itself. Yang Xiu quickly went to offer the plan and search for clever talent. And as he searched, he found the man who once mixed among laborers and was caught drinking porridge. Sending that kid to pressure grain prices should bring plenty of schemes. Besides the plan I gave Yang Xiu, I also took the system's endless potato seeds and began handing them to all the people. When they learned potato seeds could yield 3,000 jin per move, the people of Pingliang County were all very shocked. But none of them doubted it, because now, all Pingliang's people almost blindly trusted the county magistrate. At the same time, I announced my talent recruitment plan to the whole city. If anyone in the city could bring one strong laborer to settle here, then the settler would get 100 jin of rice aid, and the local introducer would get 10 jin of rice as reward. If the person brought in had skills like masonry, carpentry, or blacksmithing, then the settler would get 200 jin of rice aid, and the local introducer would get 30 jin of rice as reward. If the person brought in was educated and could read and write, then the settler would get 300 jin of rice aid, and the local introducer would get 50 jin of rice as reward. Bringing people to settle in Pingliang could earn grain rewards. This was a good deal, so Pingliang's people were naturally willing. The people of Pingyang City and Pingjiang County at first did not believe their Pingliang relatives or the words in their letters. In only 1 year, it had suddenly become a paradise in their relatives' mouths. But as grain prices in the city rose higher, and more people nearby received the same letters, the people of Pingyang City and Pingjiang County began to waver. Why not go to Pingliang and look? This thought suddenly sprang up in both cities. Now the people of Pingyang City and Pingjiang County were gradually receiving letters from their Pingliang relatives. The letters said the people of Pingliang County were all living like rich families, eating fine white rice and oily salted pickles. The reason they wrote now was to invite them to settle in Pingliang and live like immortals. Thankfully, this was not the information age, or the people of Pingyang and Pingjiang would think it was a phone scam. In their eyes, a comfortable life like that was probably only fit for the emperor. But as Pingyang and Pingjiang saw grain prices climb higher, now it was nearly 1 tael of silver for 1 jin of coarse grain. They could not afford it at all. The people in both places could barely survive until they heard in the city that Pingliang County grain was cheap. Only then did they remember the letter their relatives had sent, and they moved to Pingliang one after another. Meanwhile, in neighboring Pingjiang County's Zhou family grain shop, manager Bai Shang was leisurely cracking melon seeds, waiting for the grain convoy to arrive. Based on past experience, the grain should have arrived by noon in Pingjiang County, but now the sun was already setting, and Pingliang County's grain convoy was still nowhere in sight. The anxious Bai Shang began imagining things. Did something happen on the road? The next second, a familiar-looking, dust-covered man rushed into Bai Shang's grain shop, gasping hard toward Bai Shang, and said urgently, "Manager Bai, our grain was robbed." What? The grain was robbed? Who has such nerve to steal our lord's grain? Bai Shang shook the man anxiously and asked. They said they were from Black Wind Stronghold. Dozens of our grain escorts were tied up and taken up by those bandits. They even told us to bring grain as ransom. One person costs 100 jin of grain. This was too big for Bai Shang to decide. Besides, the warehouse Bai Shang managed in Pingjiang County did not have that much grain to ransom our county people from Black Wind Stronghold. So Bai Shang used a carrier pigeon at once to send the news to Pingliang County. At that moment, in Black Wind Stronghold's hall, the top seat was a throne covered in bear skin. A fierce-looking man sat on the chair. He was Xia Baoqing, chief of Black Wind Stronghold. Below him stood a man called Manager Yi. The manager said with a sly smile about robbing the Zhou grain convoy. I wonder if Chief Xia succeeded. Xia Baoqing laughed loudly. Thanks to your tip, Manager Yi. My Black Wind brothers succeeded today. My brothers not only seized 5 carts of grain, they also captured 10 hostages from Zhou's shop and ordered them within 7 days to prepare 100 jin of grain per hostage. When Manager Yi of Pingjiang heard this, he was overjoyed and could not help feeling proud. A mighty dragon cannot crush a local snake. Bai Shang, whoever you are, and however you got so much fine white rice in Pingjiang City, the Yi family still has the final say. In Pingliang's worn-out office, I had just eaten dinner. Of course, tonight was not porridge and pickles, but a few wild chickens, hunted in the mountains by local villagers. The wild chicken meat was tough, but the soup was amazingly fresh. I drank several bowls of that wild chicken soup just as I was about to teach night classes to the county people and teach them new characters. Suddenly, Qian Yong rushed in with a small strip of cloth and burst into the office. My lord, something terrible happened. When I heard that trouble had come, I immediately wondered if the Xiongnu, Chiton, or Cheng had invaded Chen again. My lord, our grain was robbed. As soon as Qian Yong said that, my tense nerves relaxed. Good. It was not a foreign invasion. I still had time to grow stronger. But the next second, my face changed. I asked Constable Qian coldly, what exactly happened? Constable Qian quickly took the note from Bai Shang and handed it to me. After I read the message, my face turned dark at once. Why were there no guards for this grain escort? When Constable Qian heard this, he froze. Because recently, Pingliang County was focused on building new houses, and the past 2 grain escorts had met no trouble. So Constable Qian had reassigned men to help the county people build houses. Constable Qian explained with fear. I glared and said, houses. If you moved men to the smithy to forge weapons and armor, I could accept that. But you moved them to build houses. When Constable Qian saw my dark expression, he was so scared he knelt and begged. My lord, spare me. I was truly blinded for a moment and sent them to build houses, causing 5 carts of grain to be robbed. I snorted coldly. Do you think I am angry because the grain was robbed? I am angry because your wrong decision caused our county's grain escort to be taken by Black Wind bandits. If those 10 people return safely, then this can still pass. But if something happens to them, I will hold you responsible. When Constable Qian heard this, he froze where he stood. He never expected. His lord valued people more than money. Now Pingjiang County and Pingyang City, and even places across Yangzhou, had many areas where this year's drought had already caused grain shortages. Under these circumstances, Henglian County's 5 carts of fine grain could sell for thousands of taels. And in this famine-torn world, a life was worth less than 1 tael. Those 10 ordinary grain escorts, in Constable Qian's eyes, were not worth those 5 carts. But today I taught Qian Yong a lesson. My care for the people showed him that human lives come first. These days, every day, people from Pingjiang County and Pingyang City follow their relatives' advice and move into Pinglian County. So Pinglian's population has already passed 3,000 and climbed above 4,000. But Pinglian still lacks hands. Whether I use them to earn silver or build the city defenses, it still feels far from enough. Forget 10 grain escorts. Taken by Black Wind Stronghold. Even one person or one dog from Pinglian would pain me for days. Send a pigeon letter to Bai Shang. Tell him to ask about Black Wind Stronghold and find out how many men they have. I coldly ordered Qian on the ground. Seeing the county magistrate finally stopped scolding him, Constable Qian quietly sighed in relief, then hurried to carry out my order. At the same time, Chen Yang prayed that the people taken by Black Wind Stronghold would all come back safe through Qian Yang's actions this time, moving the city guards and security squad to build houses without permission. I also saw the flaws in my current military system. Since arriving in Pinglian County, I had focused on production and neglected military management. Luckily, I found it early, so it could still be fixed. If I found it too late, the army I fed and paid each day might one day be used against me. After Constable Qian left, acting advisor Sun Yufu asked very carefully, "My lord, will you still teach night school tonight?" "No, you teach tonight." Sun Yufu sensed my mood and quickly withdrew with caution. Once no one was around, I angrily opened the system screen. Host, current silver, 137,920 taels. Reputation, 4313, 1 draw available. System storage, 6 of 10 slots. Upgrade cost, 1,000 taels. Current items, Gujing rice, Fulling pickled mustard, Yunnan Baiyao, potato seeds, and cement. Lottery wheel opening. The familiar wheel appeared again. For this draw, the prizes on the wheel were divided into 3 categories: vegetables and fruits, agricultural supplies, and weapons and armor. The vegetable prizes were chilies, pumpkins, winter melons, and eggplants, while the farming prizes had nitrogen, phosphate, potash, and paraquat. As for weapons and gear, that was what I wanted most. There was the Zhuge repeater, Mingguan armor, and the Tang Hungdao, and the Banyo crossbow. Seeing them all, I was thrilled inside. If the Zhuge repeater was the ancient version of a submachine gun, then the Banyo crossbow was the Barrett of ancient weapons. Banyo crossbow was another name for the 3-bow bed crossbow. Its bolts used hardwood as the shaft, and iron plates as the fins, so one shot carried 3 blades. The bolts fired by the Banyo crossbow could sink straight into city walls, so it was often used in siege warfare. When rows of bolts pierced the wall, siege soldiers could climb up along them. Its range was extremely far, and if this thing was aimed at a person, one hit would be certain death. There were 12 prizes in the draw. But to me, my chance of getting weapons was 1 in 3. Whether it was the Zhuge repeater or Mingguan armor, or the Tang Hengdao or Banyo crossbow, no matter which one I drew, my county guard and city patrol would gain a huge boost in strength. So at that moment, I felt, as long as I drew any weapon at all, tomorrow morning, I would gather the men and attack Black Wind Mountain, take down Black Wind Stronghold and start the draw. The 12 prizes appeared in a random order, and the prize wheel began spinning fast. After I silently pressed stop in my mind, the wheel slowly began to halt. The Zhuge repeater passed by. The Tang Hengdao passed too. The Banyo crossbow also slipped past. Just as I saw the pointer about to land on Mingguan armor, the wheel still refused to stop. I prayed anxiously in my heart as the wheel crawled forward bit by bit. It finally stopped between Mingguan armor and the next prize. I asked the system with a grin. This reward should be Mingguan armor, right? But the next second, the system's cold mechanical voice rang in my mind. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have won paraquat. It has now been stored in your warehouse. What? It was actually paraquat. I cursed viciously in my heart. If you were standing in front of me, I would show you why flowers are red. But the system did not indulge me. It directly enlarged the prize wheel for me to see. And sure enough, the pointer had passed Mingguan armor and moved onto paraquat, landing slyly on paraquat. I still said unconvinced. This thing was made by you anyway. Wherever you want the wheel to stop, it stops. If I had drawn Mingguan armor, my army's defense would have soared. But what I got instead was this paraquat. Right then, I wanted to roar at the sky. What use do I have for paraquat? I felt that any weapon or gear at all, or even vegetables and fruit, would be 10 times better than paraquat, even 100 times better. What good was paraquat now? Yanzhou had seen no rain for half a year. Even the weeds in the fields had dried to death. This weed-killing paraquat had no place to be used at all. Worse still, paraquat was highly poisonous. It was extremely toxic to humans and had no special antidote. If someone drank it by accident, they would die within days. Suddenly, a spark flashed through my mind, and a ruthless idea appeared. Black Wind Stronghold, oh Black Wind Stronghold, since you chose to become my enemy, then blame yourselves for having such useless dog eyes. You dared rob your Grandpa Zhou. The more I thought about my plan, the more I chuckled darkly. Soon, that dark chuckle turned into a strange cackle. Meanwhile, Bai Shang in Pingjiang County received my carrier pigeon letter and immediately sent men to investigate Black Wind Stronghold. When the Yi family of Pingjiang City heard what Bai Shang was doing, all their leaders laughed wildly. The Yi family manager, Yi Wuhua, spoke to their shopkeeper, Yi Jianrong, and praised him. Good, very good. You handled this well. Now the manager of Zhou's grain shop is desperately asking around about Black Wind Stronghold. Yi Jianrong, sitting below, also chuckled darkly. After losing so much grain, how could they not be anxious? Besides, all of it was refined grain. I also found out their Zhou grain shop only has enough stock to last a few days. Yi Wuwa nodded calmly and said, still, their refined grain is truly delicious. Chongguan praised it greatly after tasting it. The Chongguan he mentioned was Yi Guangming, who had teamed up with Jia Xiang and Yan Songhang to extort 50 big bags from me. Yi Guangming's courtesy name was Chongguan. Go leak Black Wind Stronghold's details to manager Bai. Let him in on the details. I want to see how they break out of this trap. Yi Wuwa ordered the grain shop aide Yi Changgue, the Yi family's chief shopkeeper Yi Jianrong, hearing the family head's order, hurriedly put on a panicked look and rushed over to Bai Shang, telling him all about Black Wind Stronghold. As it turned out, Xia Baoqing of Black Wind Stronghold was a defeated centurion from Pingyang City. After losing one battle, he fled to Black Wind Mountain. Then, relying on his own strength, he gathered deserters and turned bandit, robbing people for a living. Plundered villagers outside Pingyang City. Black Wind Stronghold had quite a few men, around 200 to 300 of them. The last 2 times, my convoy had sent more than 20 grain guards with them and only avoided the bandits by luck. This time, even with former Constable Qian guarding the grain, the losses might have been even worse. After Bai Shang learned the situation, he thanked Yi Jianrong again and again before sending him off. But shopkeeper Yi Jianrong, after leaving Zhou's grain shop in Pingyang County, saw that no one was watching and changed face at once, then spat lightly toward Zhou's grain shop. Bai Shang knew nothing of this, and only hurriedly ordered men to use carrier pigeons to send the gathered news back to Pingliang County. That same day, I fully took over the county guard and city patrol's military supplies and issued strict military discipline. Whoever dared violate it would be beheaded. After all the soldiers under me had learned the rules clearly, I ordered my county guards to bring over sack after sack, to pour bags of rice into wooden barrels full of liquid, then fish the rice out and dry it. But inside those barrels was not water. It was the paraquat I received from the system. Paraquat was also known as paraquat dichloride. Originally, it was colorless and odorless. Many famous pesticides from my past life were actually colorless and odorless too, only to prevent accidental ingestion. During production, warning colors, foul odors, and emetics were added, and then made unaware people mistakenly think all pesticides had color and smell. But what the system gave me was naturally colorless and odorless, with none of those added. No warning colors, no odors, just pure paraquat. Before this, the county guards bought these barrels I prepared, held something valuable, until I caught a chicken and forced several gulps into it. Not long after, the chicken died. Only then did everyone realize the barrels before them held deadly poison, and with the news spreading through town that the magistrate's grain sent to Pingyang had been robbed by Black Wind Stronghold, the soldiers involved in the poisoning immediately understood the reason. Heaven was helping me. These days, the sun still blazed overhead, which made poisoning and drying the rice much easier. When Bai Shang's information reached my hands, I narrowed my eyes and read it, and instantly understood why the system gave me no cold weapons or armor. There were 200 to 300 bandits on Black Wind Mountain. My city population was growing now, and the county guards I recruited numbered 300 to 400. But if I really sent these precious soldiers to fight the bandits on Black Wind Mountain, I truly could not bear it. Now it seemed this colorless and odorless paraquat was much more convenient to use. I thought to myself, a bright smile of true satisfaction spread across my face. When the last bag of paraquat-tainted rice was packed again, many soldiers faintly felt this poisoning plan was rather improper. It was not that Pingliang's soldiers pitted the bandits of Black Wind Stronghold. They just felt wasting grain like this was truly a shame. In fact, when I announced the discipline rules, many soldiers had volunteered to march out against Black Wind Stronghold. Their courage was commendable, and their spirit was worthy of praise. But right now, I could not bear to lose my already limited precious soldiers inside Black Wind Stronghold. If my authority in the army and across Pingliang County had not been as firm as a mountain, enough to hold them all down, then under another commander, those impulsive soldiers might really have grabbed their weapons and charged straight up to Black Wind Stronghold. Soldiers of Pingliang County, this time, the grain our county sent to Pingyang to serve as your military ration was stolen by Black Wind Stronghold. I believe you all know this by now. I know that right now. Every one of you is burning with anger, but we cannot rush in blindly. Black Wind Stronghold is filled with defeated deserters who fled there and became bandits, and their numbers reached 200 to 300. I had just received the report when from the ranks below him, a voice suddenly shouted, "My lord, I am not afraid of those cowards who lost to the Xiangnu, Titan, and only dare become bandits. Now that we have the chance, we must smash those dogs." The speaker was a young man named Wang Ting. He had fled to Pingliang County because he could no longer survive in Pingyang. When he was in Pingyang County, he lived outside the city. His family, and even his whole village, had suffered often under Black Wind Stronghold. As soon as Wang Ting spoke, many others echoed him loudly. I waved my hand and quieted the crowd. I know your courage very well, but your lives, and the lives of those bandits on the mountain, are not worth the same. Your lives are far more precious than theirs. I walked slowly into the crowd and asked one man, "Do you know why?" The soldier I asked looked blank. and shook his head without thinking. I then walked slowly to Wang Ting's side and asked again, do you know why? Wang Ting also shook his head in a daze, showing that he did not know. You do not know, right? Because your lives no longer belong only to yourselves. They also belong to your parents, family, and friends, and to all of Pingliang County. You must stay alive to protect your families and protect the people of Pingliang County and also your lord here. Of course, I would not say that part aloud. I only muttered it silently in my heart. Meanwhile, the surrounding soldiers heard that they carried such a noble mission on their shoulders, and the thought of not failing their families or the county magistrate rose in their hearts. Seeing these soldiers deep in thought, I felt rather satisfied and struck while the iron was hot. Although Black Wind Stronghold lies far inside Pingjiang County, those who offend Pingliang must be punished, no matter how far, and destroy Black Wind on the way. The rest would stay behind. Hearing there were only 50 spots, the soldiers all volunteered at once. After Pingliang County's grain was robbed on the 7th day, up at Black Wind, Xia Baoqing thought of the hostages he had taken. So he quickly had a lackey fetch his second chief, One-Eyed Dragon. Brother, those men we tied up days ago from Joji Grain Shop, how are they now? How many days has it been? Why has no one brought grain to ransom them? One-Eyed Dragon thought for a moment, then said, today should be day 7. Who knows what they are thinking? Xia Baoqing knew this was going nowhere and said with an angry face, then chop all 10 of them, so they stop wasting our food. One-Eyed Dragon nodded too, agreeing with the idea. Just as he got up to kill them, a small bandit rushed over. Chief, second chief, Joji Grain Shop brought the ransom grain. How many people did Joji bring? One-Eyed Dragon asked. Reporting to second chief, Joji Grain only brought the grain escorts. 6 men total, 2 big carts of grain, and 1 cart of wine. When Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon heard it, they looked at each other and smiled. Ha ha ha. Joji arrived just in time. If they had come any later, they would be collecting bodies. One-Eyed Dragon blinked his only eye and said viciously, brother, they have so few men. Why not take the grain and wine and tie up those 6 too, then demand another ransom? Brother, we cannot do that if others hear about it. After we kidnap people later, who would dare bring ransom again? One-Eyed Dragon heard this, thought it over and said, I will follow you. Then let them go. So One-Eyed Dragon led his lackeys and escorted the captured Pingliang civilians down the mountain. After One-Eyed Dragon came down, he saw 6 dark, sturdy men around long carts full of grain and wine. The 6 people before him were all carefully chosen. They looked just like ordinary farmers, including Wang Ting from Pingjiang County. And before they came, I warned all 6 of them not to show even a hint of hostility, because once they slipped up, they might fail to rescue the captives and even ruin the magistrate's whole plan. One-Eyed Dragon brought a dozen men and circled Wang Ting's group with blades. After checking the area for danger, he finally walked up to the grain carts. One-Eyed Dragon suddenly felt Wang Ting looked a little familiar, so he pressed his blade to his neck and asked, kid, have we met somewhere before? Wang Ting pretended to panic and backed away, trying to avoid the blade at his throat. Great king, what a sharp memory. I used to live in Wang village outside Pingjiang. You visited our village a few times half a year ago. Hearing Wang Ting explain it, One-Eyed Dragon also recalled raiding Wang village half a year ago. Then, he lowered the blade from Wang Ting's neck. Never thought a kid like you would work for that cursed Joe family grain shop. Wang Ting gave an awkward smile. These days, surviving is hard, so I do odd jobs for food. Great king, please look. Just as you demanded, the carts are loaded with fine grain, not a gene less than 1,000. As Wang Ting spoke, he opened a sack and scooped out a handful of white rice, then held it before One-Eyed Dragon. One-Eyed Dragon looked with his one eye at the bright white rice and burst out laughing. Your boss is smart. He knows money buys peace. Wang Ting kept smiling along. Yes, 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 our boss said. He did not know this road belonged to you, so he offended you by mistake. So he prepared several jars of fine wine as an apology. The second chief of Black Wind Stronghold stared at the extra jars of wine and felt delighted inside, but he still tested them aloud. Brat, you are not trying anything sneaky, like poisoning this wine, are you? Wang Ting had a strong nerve and did not fall for the second chief's trick. He laughed it off and said, Great king, how could that be? If you doubt it, I will drink it right here. Wang Ting then acted greedy for the wine, stepping forward to open a jar, and the aroma spread at once. Just as Wang Ting leaned his head forward, ready to take a big drink from the jar, One-Eyed Dragon once again pressed his long blade to Wang Ting's neck. Wine is precious these days. You dog, you think you deserve it. After being stopped, Wang Ting quickly explained, Great king, did you not suspect the wine was poisoned? I only wanted to test it for you. The men who came with Wang Ting to escort the grain and wine also chimed in together. Yes, yes, we were only testing it for you. One-Eyed Dragon shoved Wang Ting back with his blade. Your boss and you dirt farmers would not dare play tricks. Yes, our boss is still in Pingliang. He said once he finishes his work, he will bring gifts and visit Blackwind Mountain to apologize. Feeling smug, One-Eyed Dragon sheathed his blade and sneered, your boss is sensible. Tell him, if he wants to visit our stronghold, the gifts had better not be light. Yes, of course. Wang Ting kept agreeing, but in his heart, he thought, the lives of over 300 beasts here are certainly not a light gift. One-Eyed Dragon gave a whistle, and more lackeys came from behind, bringing the 10 Pingliang civilians who had been tied up on the mountain. Wang Ting's group quickly moved forward and hurried away from Blackwind Stronghold. One-Eyed Dragon ignored them and only focused on ordering his men to haul the grain and wine uphill. Wang Ting led the 10 captured Pingliang civilians to a hidden place and met up with me and the others waiting there. When the 10 Pingliang civilians saw me, they were moved to tears and dropped to their knees, kowtowing to thank the county magistrate for saving their lives. Great Lord, you saved us. I will never forget this kindness. If you ever command me, I will go through fire and water and risk my life to do it. I quickly helped them up, then checked them over and found only minor flesh wounds. It is enough that you are alive. This bottle holds top-grade Yunnan Baiyao. Treat your wounds first, then everyone will enter Pingjiang in batches with me. In 3 days, we attacked Blackwind Stronghold. The Pingliang civilians who had just been saved did not understand why their lord wanted to attack 3 days later, but with pure instinctive trust, these common people still believed in their own county magistrate. Meanwhile, the bandits of Blackwind Stronghold happily hauled the ransom grain uphill. When One-Eyed Dragon returned to the mountain, he saw Xia Baoqing and started regretting it. I forgot. That Zhou grain shop never even bargained. They sent 1,000 jin of fine grain up here. Does that not mean their boss is rich? We should have demanded more grain. Xia Baoqing saw the jars of fine wine and was truly pleased, then taught them his experience in public. Second brother, you still do not understand. Oh, the boss of Zhou's grain shop may be wealthy. We must keep this profit flowing. If we squeeze them too hard, it may backfire. Maybe they will take the money we extort and send it to the army to hire troops to wipe us out. Second brother. One-Eyed Dragon heard this and felt it made sense, so he nodded and praised him. Big brother thinks far ahead. Right, from now on, we still count one person as 100 jin of grain. Not only that, next time Zhou's grain shop wants to move goods, Blackwind Stronghold will charge silver too. After saying that, Xia Baoqing and the second chief laughed again. Together, Xia Baoqing grabbed a handful of white rice, then scooped a spoonful of wine to taste. Once the wine entered his throat, his spirit lifted. He did not notice anything strange at all. Feeling energized, Xia Baoqing waved proudly and ordered his men. Tonight, we hold a victory feast. Drink fine wine and eat fresh grain. The lackeys in Blackwind Stronghold instantly burst into wild cheers. But what these fools did not know was that tonight's victory feast was truly welcoming death. Meanwhile, inside Pingjiang County, the Zhou grain shop run by Bai Shang had closed since learning their grain had been robbed. While he searched for Blackwind Stronghold's details, this caused the Yi family grain merchants, the dominant Yi family, to raise coarse grain prices by a full double. Now Pingjiang's grain price had reached 22 coins for 1 jin of coarse grain. Inside the closed Zhou grain shop, I sat at the head of the hall, as Bai Shang carefully reported everything happening in Pingjiang. So you are saying the Yi family gave you the information about Blackwind Stronghold, and when you tried to build ties before, the Yi family treated you as an outsider and always looked down on you. Yes, my lord, the Yi family was the first to come forward while I was searching everywhere for Blackwind Stronghold's information and tell us what they knew. I heard that and sensed something fishy. The two shops had no real dealings before. They were even competitors. So why would the Yi family be so kind and tell Bai Shang right after trouble hit the details of Blackwind Stronghold? The only possibility was that the Yi family colluded with the bandits and robbed the grain I had sent. If that was true, then whether the Yi family's information was accurate, hard to say. In that instant, I suddenly regretted bringing only 50 soldiers. At this dangerous moment, I could only hope the paraquat-laced wine in grain would bring me a pleasant surprise. I thought to myself. On the morning 3 days later, I gathered the 50-man squad early. After a full meal, I led the team up the mountain with 2 days of dry rations. Before leaving, I also told Bai Shang to pack up the Pingjiang assets and return. Because right now, grain in Pingjiang County was already too expensive for people to buy. I believed it would not be long before these people could no longer survive and would flee from Pingjiang to my own Pingliang County. Under Wang Ting's lead that afternoon, our group took a small trail up Blackwind Mountain. When we reached Blackwind Stronghold, the sun had not yet reached noon. I looked from afar and saw only a few bandits on the watchtower standing crookedly while hugging the pillars. 3 days ago, the bandits of Blackwind Stronghold had drunk the wine I poisoned with paraquat and eaten the rice porridge, including Xia Baoqing and second chief One-Eyed Dragon. Everyone began feeling weak. At first, they thought nothing of it, believing last night's drinking had left their whole bodies drained. But by the second day, they discovered the weakness had grown far worse. Even a few steps left them gasping. This made Xia Baoqing and the second One-Eyed Dragon doubt their own tolerance. By the third day, they found their skin slowly turning yellow, their mouths and tongues like rotting weeds, and the jaundice grew worse, like sunset clouds across their bodies. At this point, Xia Baoqing, One-Eyed Dragon, finally understood that their whole gang had been poisoned in secret. When Xia Baoqing and the second chief, One-Eyed Dragon, realized it, battle cries were already coming from outside. To Black Wind Stronghold captures Xia Baoqing alive because 3 days ago, I had poisoned the rice and wine. Now all the bandits in Black Wind Stronghold could not summon any strength. The 50 Pingliang city guards I led, and the 10 civilians once held hostage. 61 people charged into the den, like tigers rushing into a flock of sheep. Trained guards like Wang Ting and Wu Laolu struck the bandits with blades and spears. Even the 10 kidnapped farmers stabbed out with their spears and dropped one bandit after another. Black Wind Stronghold had many people, around 200 to 300 men. But now each was like a sick chicken, weak and unable to fight back. And many city guards were once Pingjiang civilians who had suffered under Black Wind Stronghold. Everyone burned for revenge. Now grudges were repaid, wrongs were avenged, and their eyes turned red with killing intent. Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon heard noise outside and judged that not many had come. Only about 50 or 60 people at the first moment. The two of them thought they would kill those 50 or 60 reckless fools. So One-Eyed Dragon shouted, with so few people, they dare challenge us here. Big brother, I will lead the men and kill them all, then make their leader kneel and beg. One-Eyed Dragon tried to lift his heavy 20 Jin icy long blade. But the moment the blade reached his hand, it clanged to the ground. Seeing this, Xia Baoqing hurried to grab his own tiger-headed blade, only to find the treasured blade he once lifted with one hand could not be lifted, even with both hands now. Good, then run. That was Xia Baoqing's first reaction. Now that he could not lift his blade, Xia Baoqing knew the saying well. As long as the hills remain, there will always be firewood. He had once been a deserter, and still became master of the mountain. One-Eyed Dragon and Xia Baoqing supported each other, trying to flee through the secret passage behind the gathering hall. But while they spoke, over a dozen men with sharp spears entered with a young man into Black Wind Stronghold's gathering hall. Wang Ting saw Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon trying to run, so he carried his long blade and rushed forward in a few quick steps. With a heavy mountain-splitting strike, he chopped down before them, blocking their escape route. Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon were startled by Wang Ting's strike and hurriedly stepped back. Wang Ting seized the chance and kicked both men in the stomach. He brought us grain 2 days ago. Wang Ting shouted, tie them up and take them to master. Xia Baoqing and One-Eye were bound, then thrown before the main seat. Which one of you is Xia Baoqing? I asked slowly. Xia Baoqing knelt on the floor, but still spoke with arrogance. Brat, who are you? How dare you attack Black Wind Mountain? 10 days ago you stole my grain and men. Revenge can wait 10 days. Now we finally meet. Yet Chief Xia still asks who I am. Xia Baoqing froze. You own Zhouji grain shop. Xia Baoqing never imagined one raid on my grain and men would bring down this living reaper. You shameless bastard. You actually poisoned the wine. That is no hero's way. One-Eye snapped in defiance. He even tried to spit at me, but he had no strength left. The thick phlegm in his mouth fell straight onto his own chest. Xia Baoqing accepted reality and quickly forced a smile. Master Zhou, spare us brothers, and from now on we will serve you. If you tell us to go west, we would never go east. If you tell us to kill chickens, we would never chase ducks. Paraquat has no real antidote, and even if it did, I still would not use it. Xia Baoqing only bullied the weak, but I still wanted to ask, who ordered the Black Wind raid? So I said calmly, you want the antidote to the 10 fragrance softening powder. That is not impossible. So that poison is called 10 fragrance softening powder. Not only Xia Baoqing and his man, but even my own soldiers quietly remembered the poison's name. Xia Baoqing understood at once and hurriedly said, I understand, master. This raid on your grain was because Yi Jinyun from the Yi grain shop in Pingjiang gave us the information. I frowned slightly, just as I guessed. Rivals are natural enemies. This grain robbery was indeed tied to the Yi family. No wonder after the incident, they immediately gave Bai Shang news about Black Wind Stronghold. They wanted to see Zhouji fail. What did they promise you for dealing with Zhouji grain shop? What benefit did they offer? I asked in detail. The second chief One-Eye saw his boss had yielded and quickly rushed to answer. The Yi head shopkeeper, Yi Jianrong, gave us 20 gold bars and said any fine grain we stole from your shop later could be sold back to them. I gave a cold smile and silently marveled at the Yi family's generosity. Though recently, through Yang Xiu and Bai Shang, I had earned over 100,000 taels in Pingyang. Even now, I had never seen gold bars myself, yet to crush my grain shop, the Yi family spent 20 gold bars at once. That was truly generous. But One-Eye's words suddenly reminded me. Black Wind Stronghold must have plenty of treasure. From years of robbery, I took another bottle of paraquat from my robes. and shook it before them. This is the antidote. For 10 fragrance softening powder, do you want it? Xia Baoqing in one eye saw it, and their dull eyes instantly flashed with greed. Your brothers have ruled here for years. You must have looted plenty of silver and treasure. If you know what is good, hand it all over. Then the antidote will naturally be yours. With their lives fading, Xia Baoqing in one eye would not cling to wealth. Besides, Black Wind Stronghold was not like a novel, with hidden traps everywhere. Even if they refused to guide me, it would only take more time. If they personally led me to the hidden treasure, that would count as surrender. Once this kid saw a room full of treasure, his heart might waver. Then they could beg for the antidote. And after getting the cure, maybe they could counterattack and kill this poisoning bastard. The more Xia Baoqing thought, the better it sounded. He saw himself as a real man, able to bend and endure, swallowing shame for now, then turning the tables later. So the wise Xia Baoqing smiled and led the way. As for the other bandits, when they saw both chiefs tied up and their own limbs weak, unable to beat my city guard, they instantly lost the will to keep resisting and dropped their weapons to surrender. Tie up all these lackeys first, outside the assembly hall. My soldiers, red-eyed from killing, finally stopped their raids. Xia Baoqing in one eye had been poisoned for 3 days, so they walked very slowly. After quite a while, Xia Baoqing finally led Joey to where the treasure was hidden. The gold and jewels they looted filled 2 whole chests. Black Wind Stronghold, near such a poor could still gather this much treasure, which showed how many cruel things they had done. But what thrilled Zhou the most was not the treasure, it was the weapons and armor. Inside the stronghold warehouse, inside Black Wind's treasure, there were over 100 long blades, dozens of strong bows, and even 3 suits of armor. Pingliang County had recently gained a few more blacksmiths, but with only those few and a handful of apprentices, the forge could not keep up. In other words, what Pingliang lacked most now was weapons and gear. Seeing my eyes shine, Xia Baoqing seized the moment. Master Zhou, about my brother's antidote and mine. I ignored his hint and asked instead, are you 2 brothers truly sure you will lead your men and submit to me? Xia Baoqing thought his clumsy act had fooled me, so he slapped his chest and quickly swore, of course, my lord. From now on we brothers will serve you with our lives. Then how many people are in your Black Wind Stronghold so I can prepare enough antidotes for all of you? Xia Baoqing in one eye heard this, and their faces instantly lit with joy. As the 2 exchanged glances, a murderous glint flashed by. One eye quickly said, my lord, including us 2 brothers. Black Wind has 318. I nodded calmly, then said to Wang Ting, take half the men in here and meet the brothers outside. Aside from the 2 chiefs, leave none of the other 316. Remember, make it quick. The rest of you, move all these things to the hall. Wang Ting answered at once, then picked a few men nearby and rushed out with their blades. Xia Baoqing froze in place. He thought I would recruit them, but never expected this young man before him to be so ruthless. You despicable villain, you said you would give us the 10 fragrance antidote. Now you go back on your word. Feeling deceived, Xia Baoqing in one eye rushed forward in fury, trying to fight me to the death. But before reaching me, 2 soldiers kicked them down. Do not kill them. I still need to take them back to the county. They will be useful. I ordered the 2 guards who were protecting me, then walked back to the armor in the warehouse and said calmly, going back on my word, I never promised you the cure. Besides, this 10 fragrance softening powder, paraquat, is a deadly poison with no cure in this world. The poison has reached your bones. Even an immortal descending could not save your lives now. The 2 kicks from my guards nearly knocked Xia Baoqing and one eye senseless. It took them a while to catch their breath. The cruelty in their eyes turned into pure despair. Even if I had the antidote to paraquat, I would never give it to Xia Baoqing in one eye or their scum who harmed the people. As for the surrendered bandits, I ordered them killed, not because I was born cruel or loved slaughter, but because these men had drunk paraquat-laced wine and eaten the poisoned rice, leaving them alive to wait for death would only make them suffer more. A clean blade now would at least free them, and at the same time let Pingliang's soldiers adapt to blood and killing. only after seeing blood. Could they grow faster? Of course, if Pingliang had not lacked gear, terrain, and manpower, I would never have used such a dirty method, poisoning wine and rice, to deal with these vicious bandits. When ordinary people kill poultry, even chickens and ducks struggle and cry before death, let alone people. This was a one-sided slaughter, and the bandits wailed everywhere. Hearing those screams outside Black Wind's hall, I first felt a little pity, so he was saving his old flame. But when this kid delivered the grain, he held back that bitter hatred. That alone made him impressive. With some training, Wang Ting could go far. The women who had been scared and hiding in the corner saw Wang Ting knew Chunny and finally relaxed. I quickly explained, everyone calm down. You are safe now. He is a Pingliang soldier. Do not be afraid. I had just finished when a weak voice came from deeper inside. Are you really here to kill the bandits? Great, we are saved. I quickly followed the voice. A middle-aged man crawled to the cell door, crying with effort. Sir, we were hostages of Black Wind Stronghold. Our families could not pay enough ransom, so those damned monsters tortured us beyond recognition. I had read Investiture of the Gods and knew Daji was cruel too, but I never expected these bandits to be this inhuman. Wu Laolu, how are those scum outside handled? Wu Laolu raised the blade in his hand, already chipped. Those beasts outside, all 316 of them, none were left alive. Over 40 brothers are guarding the stronghold, and a dozen more are digging pits to deal with the bodies. Pits. Tell the men to cut wood and burn them all later. Also have the brothers cook some grain for the people kidnapped by Black Wind Stronghold. Make sure they do not take the poisoned grain. The men and women captured by Black Wind Stronghold supported each other as they left the dark dungeon. Once outside, they headed straight toward the rear mountain, where the bandit bodies were piled. Seeing that bloody scene, my stomach instantly churned. But to set an example for my men, I held on, forced myself not to throw up. Yet the rescued commoners did not flinch. They kicked and spat on the bodies again and again. Their hatred for these men overpowered their disgust. Then a soldier came to report, "My lord, a group is knocking at the gate." I instantly grew alert, thinking, could Black Wind Stronghold be different from what Xia Baoqing said? Were there more than 318 of them? We only had around 60 men, and although we had crushed the bandits of Black Wind Stronghold, we had spent a lot of strength. If another wave arrived now, we might really die here. But the next words from that soldier let my hanging heart settle. The people outside carry the Yi banner. There are about 20 of them, and most are carrying shoulder poles, like gifts. So the Pingjiang Yi family had come. Good, I wanted to meet them too. I quietly started planning how to deal with the culprit who had plotted against my grain shop. The one coming up the mountain was still the Yi grain shop manager. Behind him were 20 servants with loads, all gifts from the Yi family, plus the remaining gold bars from the 20 promised for robbing my grain shipment. Once Yi Jianrong and the porters arrived, they felt something was wrong. The last time Yi Jianrong came here, the stronghold was loud and lively. But today, the whole place was strangely quiet. The careful Yi Jianrong even noticed the guards above the gate were stained with a lot of blood. That sight terrified Yi Jianrong and his porters. But now, they were already at the stronghold gate. Leaving was no longer realistic, so Yi Jianrong could only step forward and ask to enter. After a short while, the gate of Black Wind Stronghold opened, letting Yi Jianrong's group in. Once inside, he bravely took out silver and asked a blood-covered man nearby, "Good sir, what happened in the stronghold? Why is it so strange today?" That soldier had received my military training, so he did not take Yi Jianrong's bribe. He snapped, "Do not ask what you should not." Then without another word, that Pingliang soldier led Yi Jianrong and the porters toward Black Wind's main hall. As the gate creaked shut behind them, Yi Jianrong's heart nearly jumped into his throat. At this point, he could only keep walking. Only after seeing the stronghold chief would he learn what had happened. But the farther Yi Jianrong walked, the more afraid he became, because along the path, he kept seeing dark red pools of blood. He even spotted a severed hand. A bandit calmly picked it up and walked toward the rear hill. Only Black Wind bandits could treat lives like weeds. Our Yi families deal with them is like dancing with a tiger. Who knows if it is fortune or disaster? Worry rose in Yi Jianrong's heart. When Yi Jianrong entered the main hall, he saw 5 men on each side, holding blood-dripping blades covered in blood like terrifying fiends. I had chosen these men on purpose to stand there and scare them. Sure enough, Yi Jianrong and the porters were terrified at the sight. The moment they entered, their legs went weak, and they collapsed at the threshold, not daring to move forward. I gave a slight look, and a burly man stepped out, hauling up Yi Jianrong and dragging him before me. The others behind him feared the bandits would drag them too. So they slowly shuffled into the hall, imitating the bandits from taking Tiger Mountain. I spoke in code. Where do the mushrooms grow? Who are you and what are you here for? But Yi Jianrong only looked confused, not understanding a word, so he did not dare answer randomly. But from my voice, he could tell the speaker was not Xia Baoqing, the old stronghold chief. Not knowing what had happened in Black Wind stronghold, Yi Jianrong could only kneel there trembling. I had prepared a lot of bandit slang, but had to speak normally. I slammed the table and barked, "Answer me. Why are you here?" Yi Jianrong snapped awake and quickly introduced himself, replying, "Chief, I am Yi Jianrong of Pingjiang's Yi Grain Shop. Some time ago, I made a deal with Chief Xia Baoqing and came today to settle the remaining payment." I pretended surprise. Xia Baoqing did business too. Was this business just robbery? Did you bring the remaining payment? Yes, we did. Yi Jianrong quickly waved behind him. One sharp-eyed Yi underling immediately carried a red wooden box to Yi Jianrong's side. "Why give it to me? Give it to the chief." Yi Jianrong, scared stiff, could not move at all. He cursed the fool in his heart, then pushed the box bearer forward. The Yi underling had no choice. Stepped forward shakily. When he reached my table, that short 3 or 4 meter walk felt like several lifetimes. The underling placed the red wooden box right in front of me, then retreated like the wind and knelt behind Yi Jianrong. I slowly opened the delicate red wooden box and saw 10 bright gold bars. My heart filled with sudden joy, but of course I showed none of it. Instead, I slammed the table, Yi Jianrong kneeling on the floor. Yi Jianrong jolted from the shout so badly, he nearly wet himself. Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon said, before they died, the agreed price for robbing Zhou's grain shop was 20 gold bars from your Yi family, but now there are only 10. Does your Pingjiang Yi family think my blade is dull? After I scared him like that, the Yi grain shop manager hurriedly explained in tears. Chiefly, sir, before the job was done, I had already given 10 gold bars to Chief Xia. What Chief Xia? Starting today, this place is called Feiyu Stronghold, and those 10 gold bars, did you hand them to me personally? Yi Jianrong looked up at me, then numbly shook his head. Since they were not given to me, then tell me, does the Yi family still owe me 10 gold bars? I said shamelessly, but robbing Zhou's grain shop was not done by you, chiefly. Yi Jianrong did not dare say that. He only cried inside. People say merchants are sly, but your Yi family seems ready to deny my money. I called to Wu Laolu beside me. Zhang Dabiao. Wu Laolu froze, not realizing I was calling him. He kept pretending to glare at the kneeling Yi family people. Only after I lightly kicked him did he realize my 2 calls of Zhang Dabiao were aimed at him. The slow Wu Laolu hurried over. My lord, I frowned at once. Wu Laolu quickly corrected himself. Boss, your orders. The pile out back is not burned yet. Right. Take these people to find Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon. Let them see what happens when someone owes Li Feiyu. I lifted my chin, and the soldiers at both sides understood, stepping forward to escort the Yi family to the rear hill. As for the porters carrying gifts, I naturally did not trouble them. I only had Yi Jianrong the manager, his advisor, and a young master-looking man dragged to the rear hill. At the rear hill, the former Black Wind bandits' bodies were piled like a small mountain. Yi Jianrong's group had never seen such a bloody sight. Just smelling the thick blood stench made all 3 vomit wildly, almost dying. Even though I was mentally prepared, my stomach still churned. But I could not show weakness now, so I forced myself to stay calm and said coldly, throw the 3 of them in. Let them find Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon and see what defiance brings. Wu Laolu obeyed at once, grabbing Manager Yi and tossing all 3 into that mountain of bodies. The 3 of them did not dare search for Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon there. As soon as they were pushed in, they desperately tried to retreat. But after only 2 steps, a bright blade, still stained with fresh blood, blocked their way. Wu Laolu growled fiercely, either go find Xia Baoqing and One-Eyed Dragon and have them prove they received the 10 gold bars, or hand over those 10 gold bars honestly. 10 gold bars was no small sum. How much grain would they need to sell? Though Yi Jianrong managed the Yi grain shop, he had no authority to move that much money. Only the Yi family head could decide. Helpless, Yi Jianrong forced himself to step into the pile. As he neared the bodies, one corpse suddenly slid from above and landed before him. When he saw those dead open eyes glaring straight at him, Yi Jianrong almost lost his soul. As for his underling behind him and the Yi family's young master, their pants were already soaked. Yi Jianrong dropped to his knees, kowtowing hard, begging, chiefly, mercy. We accept the extra 10 gold bars. We accept. Manager Yi, do you know why I wiped out Black Wind? Yi Jianrong lay flat on the ground, not daring to look at me, and said in a trembling voice, I know. Black Wind's chief owed you money. Back then, Xia Baoqing came to my inn and ate 2 bowls of noodles, but only paid for 1. So I traveled far with my brothers from the western desert to this godforsaken place. Yi Jianrong, kneeling there, had no idea what to say. He did not know whether to cry or laugh. Traveling thousands of miles for one bowl and killing over 300 bandits. Is this man completely insane? Xia Baoqing, you fool. Of all things to eat, you went to the desert for noodles and ate 2 bowls. Now look, over 1 bowl of noodles. Black Wind's stronghold got wiped out. Yi Jianrong cursed inwardly. I then deliberately walked to the young Yi man's side and asked, "Kid, should my Feiyu brothers ask Xia Baoqing for that noodle money?" That young Yi master had already been scared speechless the moment he saw this scene. When I lightly patted his shoulder, he was so scared he fainted. To avoid angering this chiefly before him, who seemed 10 times crueler than Yi Jianrong, quickly answered for him. "Yes, of course you should." Xia Baoqing was truly vile. How dare he owe chiefly noodle money? He deserved every bit of it. Seeing I had squeezed them enough, I stopped here and had Yi Jianrong's group brought back to the main hall. Once they returned, Yi Jianrong and his fainted underling both desperately gulped down the fresh air inside the hall. Back on the rear hill, the thick bloody stench had made them afraid to breathe deeply. Now that they were back in the hall, Yi Jianrong and the underling behind him felt as if they had returned from hell to the living world. After the two caught their breath, I had also steadied myself and kept squeezing the Ping Jiangyi family. I see Manager Yi is a reasonable man. So, you will not deny my 15 gold bars, right? Yi Jianrong heard this, and his eyes went round like a bull's. 15 gold bars. Chief, was it not 10 just now? How did it become 15 so quickly? I lounged in the highest seat, resting my feet on the table. Yes, originally, if you had brought the 10 today, my brothers would not be troubled. Now I am only charging interest. Is that wrong? Think about it. Xia Baoqing owed me 1 bowl of noodles and paid over 300 lives in interest. My 5 gold bars of interest are just normal loan shark rates. Manager Yi, tell me, is that expensive? Surprisingly, after I calculated it like this, Yi Jianrong suddenly felt 5 extra bars were cheap. Yi Jianrong shook his head like a rattle drum. Not expensive, Chief. You are truly generous. Not expensive at all. Watching the Yi family's grain shop manager Yi Jianrong act like this, another special revenge suddenly came to mind. Manager Yi, I bet you are not truly convinced and think I only bully you with force. Since this is our first cooperation, I should give you a gift too. A gift from bandits. Not having to pay protection money was already a blessing. How could Yi Jianrong and the Pingjiang Yi family ever expect bandits to give them gifts? Thinking of this, Yi Jianrong feared I would wave my hand and order my men to bring a bandit's freshly cut head as the gift. Yi Jianrong quickly refused. No, not at all. Chief, that would not do. We failed to bring the 10 gold bars. No, 15 gold bars. You did not make things hard. That is already great mercy. How would I dare ask you for a greeting gift? This is the first time I cannot give a gift away. Is your Yi family trying to insult Li Feiyu? My acting was getting out of hand and I was sinking into the role, but it made Yi Jianrong suffer. As he knelt there, thinking bitterly, plenty of gifts cannot be given away. That just means people do not want your awful gift. To stop Li Feiyu from really giving him some unlucky bandit's head, Yi Jianrong had to reveal another connection. Chiefly, do you know who governs Yangzhou? Of course I knew the Yangzhou prefect. When I first transmigrated here, I was beaten and exiled to poor Pingliang, all thanks to Prefect Yi Guangming. Now that Yi Jianrong mentioned the prefect, I immediately connected the Yi family of Pingjiang with Yi Guangming in some special way. I guess that scoundrel came from this family, and that was exactly true, but I did not expose it. Instead, I decided to pretend ignorance, so I asked the Yangzhou prefect, who is that? Seeing that Chief Li Feiyu knew little about the Yangzhou prefect, Yi Jianrong found some courage again. He said carefully, the Yangzhou prefect is Yi Guangming, style name Changguan, from our Yi family. I secretly rejoiced, so Yi Guangming is from your family. Today debts and grudges will be paid, so the Pingjiang Yi family are relatives of Prefect Yi Guangming. Then we are truly family, who failed to recognize each other. My exaggerated expression made Yi Jianrong think Li Feiyu had been frightened by Yi Guangming's title, so his courage rose a little more. To tell the truth, I, Li Feiyu, was also a scholar. I rose at dawn and studied at night. Yet after 2.5 years of hard study, I still failed the exam, so I had to flee to the western regions and rob people just to survive. Yi Jianrong dared not be angry or speak. He had never heard of any scholar passing after just 2.5 years, and certainly never heard of one going west to rob and kill people. I kept bragging to myself, and besides, I admire scholars most of all. I have long admired Prefect Yi Guangming, who passed the imperial exams. Who would have thought I would meet the prefect's family today? Once he heard this, Yi Jianrong really thought I feared Yi Guangming. After learning this relationship, he even began planning whether to use Yi Guangming's name to erase the 15 gold bars. But unexpectedly, I spoke again. Then I must give this gift. Zhang Dabiao, take the brothers to the storehouse. Bring all the fresh grain Xia Baoqing robbed 3 days ago. Hearing the gift was not a bandit's head, but the grain Xia Baoqing had stolen. Yi Jianrong sighed in relief, and Wu Laolu beside me had learned that Zhang Dabiao meant him. So he quickly answered and went to work. When Wu Laolu reached the storehouse, he saw all the grain piled together. But he remembered my special reminder to take the fresh grain from 3 days ago. And what was that fresh grain? Was it not the rice soaked with the 10 fragrance softening powder? Luckily, to avoid mixing it up, the sacks of poisoned rice had been marked. Before long, Wu Laolu and some soldiers carried all the remaining poisoned rice into the hall. Manager Yi, your family has always sold grain. This fine rice was taken by Xia Baoqing from your old rival Zhou's grain shop, under threat. After my brothers and I settled our debt with Black Wind, we did not enjoy this fine grain first. I am giving it straight to you. So tell me yourself, do you still have any reason to delay my 15 gold bars? Looking at the grain, there were at least 600 or 700 jin, though it could never sell for 15 gold bars. A smaller loss was still better. So Yi Jianrong could only force a smile and accept the grain. I left the highest seat and walked to Yi Jianrong, helping him up. Normally I should keep your leader in Feiyu stronghold as a hostage, but considering your Pingjiang Yi family is scholarly and shares ancestry with Prefect Yi Guangming, I will make an exception and let you leave. Yi Jianrong no longer held any kind thoughts of me. He knew I seemed like a harmless scholar, gentle and mild, but acted worse than a vicious bandit. The massacre of over 300 bandits proved that clearly. Chief Li had said so much. There had to be a twist. Sure enough, I said calmly, today I will let all of you descend, but I will send one brother down with Manager Yi to collect the 15 gold bars. Zhang Dabiao, will you go down with Manager Yi and collect our 15 gold bars? Wu Laolu knew the county lord was testing him, so he slapped his chest with one arm. Boss, rest easy. I, Zhang Dabiao, will complete the task, but if they return to the Yi family and refuse to pay, I waved my hand at once, stopping Wu Laolu from continuing, then smiled kindly at Yi Jianrong and quoted a line from Gulong. A refined gentleman would not waste my trip. Seeing my kind smile, Yi Jianrong shivered for no reason and quickly replied, of course not. Today, Yi Jianrong finally understood. It is not scary when bandits fight. It is scary when bandits are educated. This mountain chief Li Feiyu was truly terrifying. And he had only studied for 2.5 years. If he studied longer, would he be even harder to handle? After Wu Laolu changed clothes, he immediately followed Yi Jianrong's group down to the Pingjiang Yi family. Yi Wuhua, the current Yi family head, was delighted to see the grain return, but when he learned what happened at Black Wind stronghold and that Li Feiyu threatened them for 15 gold bars, Yi Wuhua realized his joy had been empty. Right now, Yi Wuhua wanted Yi Guangming far away in Jinan City to send troops to suppress them and wipe out these greedy new Black Wind bandits. But what they did not know was that although Yi Guangming was the prefect as a civil official, he did not command proper soldiers. At most, he could move a few dozen prefectural guards. In Chen, a prefect only governed a state's civil affairs and appointments. As for why I could recruit soldiers as a county magistrate, it was because rotten Chen had basically abandoned Pingliang after it suffered raids and disaster. All the people of Pingliang County had been treated as abandoned pieces, and as the highest official there, I opened granaries to save starving people, rebuilt walls and houses, and seized public support. So naturally, I controlled both army and government power there. Inside the Yi family's study, Yi Wuhua was furious, so angry he smashed his favorite white jade beast, while Yi Jianrong knelt aside silently. If Yi Wuhua had not questioned the porters who went with Yi Jianrong and his young relative, he would have thought Yi Jianrong colluded with Black Wind bandits to steal the family fortune. This is too much. How dare those bandits bully my Yi family? Trembling, Yi Jianrong hung his head, not daring to breathe loudly because the rotten idea to use Black Wind against Zhou's shop had come from Yi Wuhua himself. Now the grain had been stolen, but the Yi family had drawn trouble too. In the end, Yi Wuhua had to shoulder the blame. Suddenly, a bold thought popped into Yi Wuhua's mind. Wait, Yi Jianrong, do you think Li Feiyu could be from Zhou's grain shop? Yi Jianrong lowered his head in thought, then gave his judgment. Family head, if Li Feiyu really works for Zhou's shop, then their backing is far too strong. So decisive, killing over 300 people without hesitation, is truly ruthless. But I already heard, Zhou's shopkeeper by Sheng in our city, is preparing to leave Pingjiang. So Li Feiyu and his men probably are not with Zhou's shop. Yi Wuhua nodded, agreeing with Yi Jianrong's view, then sighed deeply. I truly cannot believe someone would travel from the west to Black Wind for one bowl of noodles and wipe them out. But the facts of Black Wind were there, so he had to believe it. The one who went up with Yi Jianrong was nephew, Yi Fani. He had wanted the mountain trip and meeting the bandits to train him a little, but after returning, Yi Fani had gone insane. He ran around in urine-soaked clothes, muttering, ate 2 bowls of noodles, paid for 1. Family head, the 15 gold bars. Yi Jianrong asked carefully, now power is against us. Li Feiyu dared send someone here, so he clearly fears nothing. For these desperate men, we should avoid provoking them. Let us pay to avoid disaster. Yi Wuhua helplessly chose to do so. This time, I used the name Li Feiyu to extort 15 gold bars from the Yi family, though it hurt them badly. The wool comes from the sheep. Pingjiang still had many leeks to cut, and since Bai Shang's Zhou grain shop had closed and fled, the Yi family now controlled the entire Pingjiang grain market. So I did not need to secretly push grain prices higher myself. The Yi family would raise them on their own. To earn back the 15 gold bars lost in the Yi reception hall, Wu Laolu had already drunk 2 cups of tea. Yet after Yi Jianrong reported the gold matter to the family head, he never returned. Before coming here, my lord had instructed Wu Laolu to go and return quickly, even if he failed to get the gold bars. He only needed to confirm the Yi family's location. After all, the poisoned grain had already been delivered. Once the Yi family ate that grain, we could come clean up later. Then the grudge between Yi family and Pinglian's grain shipment would finally be settled. A man in his 40s or 50s came out from behind the screen. Well, you must be Zhang Dabiao, hero Zhang of Feiyu Stronghold. For any rudeness, please forgive us. Yi Wuhua greeted Wu Laolu with a smiling face, but Wu Laolu wasted no words and asked directly about the gold. Head Yi, what about the gold bars? You owe our stronghold. If you cannot pay, I will not waste time here. Wu Laolu pretended to rise and leave. Yi Wuhua quickly stopped him. Hero Zhang, do not rush, we will pay. Yi Wuhua clapped his hands, and a beautiful young woman entered, holding a red wooden box. Wu Laolu froze. Somehow, a phrase my lord had taught him suddenly jumped into his mind. Sugar-coated bullets. Yes, that was it. The Yi family was using sugar-coated bullets to fish for our information. Once he figured this out, Wu Laolu snapped back. He immediately grabbed the box. After confirming it held 15 gold bars, he prepared to leave, but Yi Wuhua stopped him again. Hero Zhang, the trip down was tiring. I prepared fine wine, so please, stay and drink a cup with us. Yi Wuhua wanted Wu Laolu to stay and drink, mainly to get him drunk, then learn Feiyu Stronghold's secrets. But Wu Laolu had received my strict discipline and military rules training. How could he stay to drink? So without thinking, he refused Yi Wuhua's invitation and strode outside. Earlier, Yi Wuhua had the beautiful young woman bring out the gold because he wanted beauty and wine to tempt Wu Laolu. But Wu Laolu's reaction was beyond Yi Wuhua's expectations. For a moment, Yi Wuhua could not see through Black Wind's new rulers.